The Roush Catback that we have here today will be a great option for the 21 and newer 5-liter F-150 owners looking for a high-quality stainless system with plenty of bark right out of the box and with the option of adding some adjustability down the road. Now, the Roush will feature that premium 304 grade stainless steel build throughout, all for right around your $1,300 price point. Install, according to the site, is going to get a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking a couple of hours to knock out from start to finish, as we'll demonstrate later in the video. This is an interesting system from Roush that is essentially, guys, one half of their very popular yet very expensive fully active catback exhaust system for the 5-liter truck. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is exactly, well, it's basically a system that allows you to control the volume of your exhaust from inside of your truck with a knob, and obviously that's super cool, super convenient. Now, the only thing this particular system is missing to complete the fully active portion is the valve that would essentially mount right here, along with all of your electronics and the knob, which, by the way, if you were looking to complete the package, that kit can be found here at AmericanTrucks.com for roughly another $800 on top of this system today. But as I mentioned at the very top of this video, guys, the Active Ready Catback that's on the table with me here today is still going to bring plenty of volume to the party right out of the box. So again, if you're after something that will definitely turn some heads, then this is one to consider. Now, in fact, breaking out my Wake the Neighbor scale, I had the Roush coming in at a very robust 4 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Now, on top of that volume, I will say it's super modest inside the truck while cruising on the highway. That's always a great combination and always something we can look forward to from Roush. Now, I do want to point out, guys, that this is basically as loud as this system will ever get. So if you purchase that additional active kit from Roush, it's not going to make the exhaust any louder, but what it will do is make the system much quieter thanks to that included valve, knob, and all of your electronics. Now, how it works exactly is that valve will mount again to this portion of the Roush muffler, and when in quiet mode, essentially is going to turn off this portion of the muffler, basically delivering a very quiet experience. But with that valve fully open, like how it is here, well, that's when things get loud, and that's when you get that iconic Roush rumble. But let's move into what else you can expect here with the Roush Catback as far as your build quality is concerned. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, owners can look forward to that premium 304 grade stainless steel throughout. Now, if you didn't know, this is essentially the best material currently available in the land of aftermarket exhaust when we're talking about long-term corrosion or rust resistance. And the Roush certainly going to deliver on that aspect. Now, outside of your materials, you are looking at 3-inch mandrel bent tubing here, primarily, guys, all of that leading into and out of your high flow muffler, rather large one, and that is going to dump in the factory location thanks to the dual /cut tips here etched with that Roush logo. Now, the hangers, everything else located in your factory location. Kit does include, of course, all of your clamps and hardware needed to get everything bolted up rather easily in the garage or driveway. Now, speaking of getting everything bolted up, now's a point in the video where we want to shift gears, get into that installation, and just show you exactly what it takes to get this system bolted up to your 21 and newer 5-liter truck at home. So, without further ado, let's grab our toolbox, head out to the shop, and we'll show you how it's done.
Tools required for this install include a 1/2 inch and 3/8 impact guns, an electric ratchet, a can of penetrating lubricant, a rubber mallet, 15mm wrench, an exhaust hanger remover tool, a ratchet, a couple different size extensions, a 10, 15, shallow 17, 21, and 24mm sockets, a tape measure, a marker, safety glasses, as well as a saw and pole jack or jack stands. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to install an exhaust on our F-150. First, we're going to watch a quick little uninstall video, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
Start by grabbing your 13mm socket and undoing the 2 bolts at the flange. Next, take your exhaust hanger removal tool and get the muffler out of the isolator. Next, we're going to slide our exhaust towards the tail end so we can get them out of the 2 additional hangers. And then we're going to drop the whole exhaust as a full. I grabbed a buddy to help me out with that.
So now before we start with the install, you're going to have to cut your factory front pipe to install this system. Now in the directions, Roush includes a whole list of cut lengths based off of your wheelbase. Now we have the 145-inch wheelbase, so we'll be cutting 11.4 inches from the back of our resonator on our front pipe. So we'll get our tape measure and a marker, and then we can mark down our cut length. So now we're over here at the saw. We've got our front pipe all laid out and clamped down, so we're ready to make our cut. So once we have our cut made, we're going to want to go ahead and deburr the edges. So I've got a grinder here. So we'll just turn it on, rotate it around, and it will clean up that edge for us. So now with our pipe cut, cleaned, and deburred, we can go ahead and lift it into the truck. Now I've got a pole jack here to support the weight of the resonator as we tighten down our flange. So now we can reinstall our hardware. The factory is going to be a 17mm bolt, but since our hardware was replaced, we have a 17mm bolt with a 15mm nut on the back. And then we can loosely tighten these bolts down with a 17mm socket and 15mm wrench. Now before we continue with the install, Roush gives you the option to run this as an active system, which means if you buy the part separately, you can get the valve set up. Otherwise, they include just a piece of pipe in the kit to bolt up to our Y pipe, which is what we're gonna do. So now we can take our gasket, slide that over our 2 studs, and then we can take our pipe, slide it right over, and then our 2 nuts. And then we can take our 13mm socket to tighten these down. So now we can install our Y pipe onto our muffler. We're going to do this on the table just to make it a little bit easier, and then we can lift it into the truck. So we'll take our smaller clamp, it's going to be 2.5 inch, and slide it over our smaller pipe, and a 3-inch clamp that will slide over our larger outlet. And then we can take our Y pipe, and we'll wiggle that in. Now we can slide our 2 clamps into position and loosely tighten these down. So now we can take our muffler assembly. We're going to be sliding it over our front pipe first. That way we can get it to slide into this hanger and this hanger. And I've got a pole jack here to support the weight of the muffler while we have it just resting on this pipe until we get our hangers in. So now we can take a 3-inch clamp and slide it over our Y-pipe. And then we can slide our Y-pipe into our front pipe. So now we've got the muffler wiggled into position. We've got it started in both of our hangers. So now we can take a rubber mallet. We're gonna hit on the lip of the muffler to bang it forward just a little bit, and then we can tighten our clamps. So now with our muffler in place, we can slide our clamp into position and loosely tighten that down with a 15mm socket. Now for our next step, we'll take our over axle pipe and our rearmost stock hanger, and we're gonna be adding this off the truck. That way it makes it easier just to get it installed. So now if you're looking at the part of the pipe that connects to our muffler outlet, our hanger, the long post that goes up is gonna be to the left side looking at that. So we can slide it over our post here. So now we can take another 3-inch clamp and slide that over the edge of our over axle pipe. And now we can get this lifted into position. And then we can get our 10mm bolts started for our hanger. And now we can take our 10mm socket to tighten these down. So to install our tips, we're gonna have to add this additional hanger. Now this is gonna go on the bolt that holds our leaf spring in, the rearmost bolt. Then we'll just slide this over. We'll get this up in between the gap we create in the bolt, tighten that back down, and then our tips will be installed. So now we'll take our 24mm socket on the nut side, and then use a 21mm socket on the bolt side to loosen this bolt. Now we can take the last of our 3-inch clamps, slide that over our over axle pipe, and then we'll grab our tips with our hanger, slide that hanger on, and then get this into place. Now we can slide our clamp into position and tighten that down with a 15mm socket. So now we can get our 24mm socket on our nut side, get a 21mm socket on our bolt side, and then you can adjust your tips as high or low as you'd like based off of how high you bolt that hanger down. So once we have our exhaust aligned in a spot where we like it, we can start from the front and work our way back, tightening down all of our flanges and clamps. So we'll start on our front flange. It's going to be a 17mm socket on the front and a 15mm wrench on the back. For you at home with your stock hardware, it's just going to be that 17mm bolt going through the front. Now we can get our next 3 clamps. These are all going to be 15mm. Now we can get our next clamp on our muffler outlet, also going to be a 15 millimeter. And now lastly, we'll grab the clamp on our tips. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Roush Active Ready single exhaust system with polished tips in the side exit for your 2021 and newer 5.0 liter F-150. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.